welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I am heading off to the Easter Carnival, which is up at Stirling's Crossing Endurance Complex. As I mentioned in my last video, the plan is to take Romeo up for the 120-kilometer mini marathon, but upon checking him this morning, he just wasn't 100% right. And I know I'm never going to take one of the horses unless they are 100% okay to go. So instead, I thought to myself, well, if Prince is okay, I may as well take him up for another 80-kilometer ride towards his open qualification. So in this clip, I'm just checking him over, seeing whether he's got any cuts, bumps, or scratches. But he seemed okay. I trotted him out as well, just to double check he was sound and he was all good. So it was probably a bit of a surprising morning for Prince. Usually I do a few little preparation things with the horses in the days leading up to an endurance ride. Just like washing them, washing their rugs, that sort of thing. So I don't think he was expecting to be pulled out of the paddock this early in the morning to hop on the float, but he was such a good boy about it, and yeah, loaded him up and off we went. So after a really good trip up to Stirling's Crossing, I made Prince's yard and then got him out of the float. Usually I'd get him out of the float straight away, but since I was here by myself, I like to get the yard set up and ready to go, then take the horses off, just so that I don't have to try and manage them or tie them up to the float while I'm trying to get the yard up. So just let him have a little pick of grass, and then I put him into his yard, which he was very happy about. I was so impressed with Prince because he was really calm. We came up by ourselves, so I was expecting him to maybe be a little bit stressed at not having a friend or something like that, but he actually didn't neigh the entire time, which was a little bit unusual for Prince, I guess, but yeah, no, very happy with how he was. So I tacked him up for a pre-ride, and I wasn't sure how Prince would be at Stirling's since the last time he was here, he got lost in the forest. So yeah, I was a little bit worried about that, and honestly the start of our pre-ride wasn't that great. He was pretty anxious, and then I had to hop off to grab a gate, and then I couldn't get back on because he was trying to rear and race off. So I just kept walking him along in hand, and every minute or so I tried to get back on, and I think it could have been maybe 10 or 15 times I tried, and he wouldn't let me hop on without trying to rear. So I just kept walking along with him, kept trying, and eventually he let me hop back on without moving, which was nice. And then we actually had a really good pre-ride. So the tracks were a little bit rocky, as you can see here. We've had a lot of rain in Queensland, a lot of flooding, and it's washed away all of the topsoil on the tracks. So it was something I had to keep in mind and be aware of before we went out for our ride the following day. After a good night's rest, we got up early the following morning to get ready for our ride. Ride start was at 4 a.m, so usually I get up an hour before to get myself dressed and get Prince tacked up and warmed up. If you've watched my first ever YouTube video, you'll recognize the horse on the left. This is Arlo, who I rode at the Quera State Championships last year. So it was really cool to see him again, and we actually ended up riding together.
I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight.
Prince and Arlo were doing really well together. We had to hop off a few times like this, just down the really steep hills, so we weren't putting a lot of weight and pressure on the horses' backs. But after about 3.5 hours, we came in off the first leg, and Prince was feeling really good. I didn't have to strap him at all, really. I hopped off and his heart rate was already well below the parameter. So we went straight off to bedding, and yeah, my strapper was then here so I could get some trot out videos, which was nice. And Prince did pretty well, still a little bit sassy as you can see. I don't think Prince is ever going to lose that little bit of attitude, so we'll just have to put up with it. But yeah, he did really well. After a little break, we were heading back out on track for leg 2. Prince got through with a heart rate of 46, I believe, all A's and 1s except for a B for gut sounds. So I was determined to make sure that he ate and drank a lot more on this leg. Here we are coming into the finish gate. This was at the end of the 80 kilometers. We had ridden for 7 hours and 15 minutes. Prince didn't need too much strapping, so after putting a little bit of water on him and checking his heart rate, we went over to vetting, which is where we did our trot out, and Prince did really, really well. So Prince and I successfully completed the 80 Ks, which was his second qualifying ride, which is fantastic for Prince. Only one more to go, and then he's an open horse. So after a big 3 days, it was time to get everything packed up and head back home. One thing I had on my mind all weekend was whether Romeo was okay. At this point it's Monday and I trotted him out and he was fine, so I'm really happy that Romeo's back to being happy and healthy, and I think we'll probably do an 80 kilometer ride to make up for the 120 that he missed. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like this one, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!